Lots of stuff to cover on this beautiful day. What's up with the hazy? Air quality, what happened? We don't know wildfires around here. It's kind of weird. I woke up, I thought, oh, is that what's going on?
Yeah, this is from Canada.
This is from Canada?
Yeah.
Oh,
the air quality's at 131, which is like, don't go outside.
Yeah, what happened in Canada that we don't know about?
They have wildfires going on.
Yeah, where at?
And,
all right, good to see everybody.
And so we are covered from
Top
Canada all the way down the East Coast.
Wow.
I don't know how far, but like Boston, New York, they're
worse.
Cloud cover. Yeah. And
Wow. Get the wind blowing.
Rockville's worse than Frederick, I will tell you that.
Yeah, that's something. Maybe because we have more trees. I don't know. So, good to see everybody. Thanks for tuning in. You ready, Frank? Here we go.
All right. Yeah, and 3, 2, and 1.
All right, folks. Hey, welcome back to your Frederick Real Estate Update. I am Darren Ahern with RE/MAX Results, bringing you over 20 years experience in the Maryland and PA region. And also with me, the man, the myth, the legend from Presidential Bank Mortgage with all of the money, Mr.
Terry Kernan.
He's here.
How we doing?
All righty. Here we go. Another weekend. We're almost halfway through the year. It feels like it's flying on by.
Absolutely.
All right.
It's already June, and when this show airs, I will actually be in Ireland.
That's it. He's ready to go. He's ready to take off.
A couple days early. I leave tomorrow with the Gonzaga group that I've been going to. This will be my 12th year being a chaperone in Ireland, and it's just an awesome experience. Take the boys from Gonzaga down in DC that just graduated from high school, and some of the dads, and we chaperone and show them Ireland for 8 days. So
there you go.
Looking forward to it.
All right, you're gonna have fun over there, and gonna get a, what do they call it? One of the green Guinnesses.
A genius.
A genius. You're gonna go get some geniuses.
We're gonna get some geniuses.
Fish and chips and geniuses on the way. That's my hometown. As you know, my boy Christian was over there just about less than a month ago, and he got to go see our homeland in Ireland and down on the coast and go visit. And he had an amazing time. He said for 4 days to travel around and to actually contemplate and think about this. I'm literally standing right in the town of where my great-great-grandfather and all them lived and came from to come to America. So.
And what town is that?
So down in Cork.
Down in Cork?
Yep, down on the coast there. Yep.
Is it in Cork?
No, it's right outside of it. It's probably 20 minutes or so, I believe, 20, 25 minutes. He took a, what's funny is he took.
Do you know the name?
I don't know the exact name off the top of my head. He knows exactly. I can't remember the town. But he took he laughed and he was okay with it. He actually took like one of their quote unquote Ubers. And apparently the town, there's only like 2 Airbnbs, and he met some people at the pub and some places and went around. And he said it was really funny. The transportation to get out there was more than the bus because it was late at night when he flew in. And it was like the Uber ride, and it was like $50 American, and he couldn't believe it. And I said, heck, you went a 30-minute drive, but it was good to bless them. He said it was all great.
That is awesome.
He said, but the bus ride's only $5. He said it was just such a big difference, but he had a great time. He absolutely loved it, and I'm jealous. I want to go back and see our homeland now.
Well, the people are special.
Yeah, he said they're so friendly. Everybody loves everybody.
Friendly. And crack in Gaelic means fun.
Yeah.
So basically, if I crack on you, I'm having fun with you. Okay? So that's the big thing I have to explain to the boys, because they're all, I said, when a girl cracks on you, she's being jovial, she's having fun with you, she's not being mean.
Yeah.
And that's probably the best advice I give to the boys when we get there.
When you're drinking Guineas, and geniuses and eating fish and chips, you can't be mean at all. So. But yeah, it was a lot of fun to hear his stories and everything, and it's just really cool. So you're going to have a good time with everybody. A lot of the boys, I imagine it's their first time over to there, so you'll have a good time, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get into the numbers. Here we go. Actives on the market is 265. Can you believe it? Wow. We were at 255, 260. I mean, we're just kind of bouncing around every week to week. Resales 143. 35 days in the market. That's gone up from 29. Don't know what about that, but that's what it is. And 555 average median price, new construction, 118 of them, 666 single family homes, with the highest price we've seen at 727,900, right? Looking to break 750 for a brand new construction build. Coming soon, 55. So we're down a little bit on that regard. Pending under contracts, 540 new builds, 174 and 366 resales sold in the last 30 days. T is we had 336, which is really low. So average time in the market of there is 14 days, and the price sold ratios is 101.1. So we've gone up just a tiny bit, and that's just simply because the outrageous amount of buyer demand. So any thoughts?
Well, the number that sticks out is last week we were 29 days on the market. Today we're 35. So let's talk a little bit about that. I think what's happening is people are coming in and the sellers are starting to dictate the price again. They're starting to say, well, no. I want to go in at 525, and you, the realtor, might say, well, you know, we're gonna be at 490 here, and we're gonna create some interest. And no, I want 525, and that's kind of what I'm feeling. Are you seeing any of that? Because anytime you see days on the market go up, it's usually because the demand has gone down. Well, the demand has not gone down.
Exactly.
So what I think's happening is the sellers are starting to get that swag that they had 10 months ago.
Yeah.
You remember that swag?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then when that swag disappeared in November and December.
That's right.
And they thought that you would, you know, just pulled the rug out from under them.
Yep.
And I don't know, but that's kind of the sense I get now, because what we're starting to see are what? Appraisal issues.
Yeah, I had another one. Yeah,
Okay.
I know, telling me.
So that's usually, you know, a combination of, well, it's a combination of one thing, right? Combo of one, overpriced.
Yeah.
And that's the bottom line. So I think we're going to have Kenny McLean on in a couple of weeks.
Yep,
I've already
appraiser.
worked it out with Kenny. He'll talk a lot a bit about that, but that's the number that you just read out. Everything's pretty much the same, but that's the number that's jumped out to me, and that's what I think is going on.
Yeah, we're definitely experiencing that in the last few weeks, no doubt about it, is the sellers have this idea that, like, hey, I'm hearing like there's 70, I think I wrote it down, is like 70% of multiple offers are still happening because of low inventory and everything. And there's no inventory, and so what they're thinking is well, I'm entitled to get whatever I want then. And they totally disregard everything as far as appraisal problems. And no one really truly knows. Number one, most don't know how that really works, how that's defined and what are the implications. I dealt with that this last week, as you know, and we split the difference. The seller came down a little bit in the price, and the buyer was willing to bring extra cash, and it was a little bit of a stretch for them. I do know that. That was nothing fictitious about it. But at the end of the day, the thing that was the saving grace, that I believe the thing that was saving grace that caused the buyer to not walk away from the counter offer that I had suggested to my seller with, who, you know, it was a little bit of pushback. They were kind of like, hey, wait a minute, if they're not going to come up with all of it, we may just want to put the house back on the market. And I'm like, no, this is where you're going to have the same issue later. You got a great buyer. They got good, strong financing and everything else. Plus, you won't have the carrying costs. So I did the pros and cons with them, and they came to their senses pretty fast and realized, oh, yeah, these are all the items I need to think about through to make sure that I'm making the best decision possible. And so splitting the difference is kind of I see as probably the more norm right now. But any appraisal issues, Terry, that I think I see going forward as we get more inventory and as it's not so much of a seller's market, the less it becomes of the seller's market, there's going to be more chance that buyers are going to be willing to walk away, and sellers are going to be more forced to just come down to that appraised value, be really happy. That's the value today. You're getting the top dollar. It's not like you're taking a loss. It feels like it because of what somebody offered and you accepted. But at the end of the day, no, that is the real value in general, whereas some would argue and say, no, the real value of anything is what a buyer and a seller is willing to pay between each other. And so, yes, that's one argument. I've been for that for 20 years, but at the same time, appraisals are appraisals, the numbers are the numbers, and I tell people, I think it's a really good idea to be happy with what you're getting, especially when our minds start to drift back to 2009, 10, and 11. Take what you can kind of get, because we definitely don't want to repeat some of that nonsense, right?
Absolutely. And you know, I know a ton of appraisers, and I know a ton of appraisers for multiple decades, and they're all great guys, great girls. They're all, they don't go into it with
bias. There's no bias.
There's no bias.
There is none.
They present the facts.
That's it.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Now, is it like an accountant or a CPA where you could give them your tax returns to 5 different accountants and they're going to come up with 5 different amounts of returns? Yes, that could happen. But all in all, they're pretty much in the same ballpark. They're pretty much on the same trail.
Razor thin.
Yeah. So,
like literally a razor thin. Like that CPA's $20 discount, you may get $20 back from the government. And this one, you get $5 because this one you had this other write-off you didn't know about or something, or I don't know. It could be something. But you're right. It's so razor thin. All right, so real quick, I'm going to do my side real fast here. State of the market, halfway through the year already. I mentioned before, about 70% of multiple offers we're still dealing with. I'm educating. I have brand new buyers from Massachusetts who are great folks. They live here now in Maryland, and they are first-time buyers. They've never, they're learning the area and getting to know everything well in the market and the holding yards. And so they're the ones that are merging. They just came onto the on-ramp, and it's like, welcome to the party, Sellers are still on the fence, though, a lot with with only moving if it's a must or something that they absolutely have to do, and it takes time. We had so much activity, and people were in their average time. It used to be 7 years, but now it's actually about 9.5 years is the average time that people live in their homes at this point. And so we still have that little bit of gridlock on the buyer side. This is the deal. It feels like unicorns and chasing my tail, because it seems like, Terry, right now, I got a lot of scenarios going on where it feels like not only we got a lot of buyers. I probably have 40 or 50 buyers on my search right now, and probably about 5 buyers that are really active in the game. I mean, like, boom. I met a couple yesterday, 2 actually different ones yesterday, and today another one, and so it's pretty good in that regard. But the key denominator is that with these 5 in particular, I've realized is that. With all of their search, 4 out of 5 of them, what I recognized is that they were all willing. They got tired of, man, I'm only getting like 4 homes a week coming over that's coming soon or active that are in my search. How do we expand that? And what they realize is, I got to either like change my price. I'm going to be willing to pay a little bit more, $25,000 more. I'm willing to make a concession here. I don't really need a garage. It'd be nice to have a garage. One of them's like, but if I don't get a garage, not a big deal. I can build one later or just do without. And then most everybody has done the big thing. Well, let's expand the search out 20 more miles in all directions. Mm-hmm. Holy cow. Now you've opened up the floodgates. And now they're like, oh, I'm getting 2 a day coming over now. You get it?
Right.
So by making these suggestions and saying, hey, look, if you broaden your search just a little bit more, by doing this, X, Y, Z's. Let's see what that looks like for kicks and giggles. Let's just see what that does. And to my surprise, everybody's been pretty much on board and excited about it, and it's causing to get more activity, more showings, and to give like a new breath of hope that, wow, it does just only take 1, and it looks like we're getting more. But this whole thing about chasing unicorns on my tail, that's the very thing is we've got scenarios too, where the very thing that somebody wants, it doesn't exist in the moment. Doesn't mean it can't exist. It doesn't mean it can't come up. But it just seems like when you have less than 300 homes on the market and you take away all the new builds and you've got the resale market, as we know, at I think 141 resale homes on the market. Historically, Terry, at this time of the year, we would normally have about 600 to 800 resale homes. That's how far off the inventory is.
And that's how far off the inventory's been off for
years.
Now.
Yes, 2 years.
So normal is now 135 resale homes on the market. That's the new norm. Like you and I and Kenny will talk about it. Well, in a normal market, what is normal now? Like this is, I think, almost the new norm because it's been going on for over 2 years.
Yeah, and we talked about many of the factors, and we thank all of our listeners. Go back into our programs that dictate. We've talked about ideas that can do this. So let me build a scenario. So you got this wants versus needs is the number one thing, and then you got to blend it in with affordability of like what can I afford, right? If I say, look, Terry, I want to live in. I'm not commuting far to work, and so I'm going to live in Frederick. I'm not living out in the county or nothing. I want to be 5 miles away from my work or something like that. Or I just want to be by Starbucks and the gym and all that stuff like that, and Walmart and my car wash and all the other goodies and everything. And so therefore, I just want to live in this really tight area, and I got a big family, I got 6 kids, right? So I'm going for the gusto. I want a 6-bedroom, 4.5 bath house. I'm probably going to need at least 3,500 square feet because they're all boys, and I need, everybody wants to kick out and have some space. And man, we got 6 cars now, so I need at least a 4-car garage minimum. And I don't like neighbors. I want to be out with at least 3 acres. I don't want to see a neighbor in sight. And then but I can only afford like $3,000 a month mortgage, and so that's going to get me what, maybe a $500,000 home at the most and stuff. And then, so what would you say to me? This is what I really got to have. I need it. I'm not willing to sacrifice anywhere else. This is what I'm going to get. And all of a sudden, Terry, you're like thinking in your head, what?
Well, going back, a couple things. Going back to exactly what you said, and that is cast the net wider, okay? If you want that, then we're going to have to look into Pennsylvania. We're going to have to look into, deeper out into Western Maryland.
What? No, I am not willing to go out there. I know that doesn't exist right now, but there has to be one.
If you want what you want, okay, I'm going to tell you what you need to hear, Mr. Ahern, as they say in Ireland. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear rather than what you want to hear is what you're looking for doesn't exist right now in your price range. What I'm seeing on my end is that the frustration levels have gone up to where people are actually coming back to me and they're saying, max me out to the maximum mortgage payment that I can go, and then I'm going to refinance when the rates come back down. But I can't sit on this bench any longer. I'm tired. I'm losing deals. I'm out of the ball game. Max me out and let's cast a wider net. And that's happened to me on several occasions over the last 30 days. So the demand is not, waning or anything. It is still there. And I think people are starting to say, give me something that I can look at.
Yeah, that's it. And so in that case,
so in your case with the 6-bedroom and all that, that doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. That's what I mean, the unicorn. So when we have these scenarios that we've worked with,
leprechauns do exist.
Yeah, there you go. Change that color up. And so when we have that scenario, we got a lot of listeners that are thinking, well, okay, that's not what I want to hear. I really want what I want. I want that downtown place. I want it this size, this area, da-da-da. I got to have this. I'm not willing to give it up. And this is the only, but then we have the big affordability thing. Now, if you had $1 million sitting in your account, great. Let's just build the dang thing, right? Like, we can get what we want. But when you're on a budget and everything like that, so let's say we have a scenario where somebody's at, I don't know what, average $300,000 or so like that, and it doesn't exist. What are the things that you can think of? If like, what do you tell somebody? Do you just, if they're not willing to go out further, which that's usually the fastest cure to not being able to get what your real needs are. 9 out of 10 times, Terry, the only solution ultimately in a fixed, I can't go up in my budget, this is maxed out, and I have to have X, Y, Z, these are non-negotiables, and if nothing's coming up, the best cure is absolutely going out further, going into West Virginia, or going up into Pennsylvania and such like that. So,
that's option one.
Right, that's the best option. What is the best next option if they absolutely just can't go 20, 30 minutes or more away from where they're wanting to be?
So what I do in that situation, and I run into it a lot, and I'm running into it all the time today, is what is our next solution? And the solution is, okay, let's relook at everything that you gave me, and let's come up with a plan to help you qualify for more. What are the 2 things that are going to help you qualify for more? Number 1, get a gift or pay off debt.
Oh,
right?
Good.
Pay off debt. So if you pay off a car that's $500 a month, divide 7 into 500, and you're going to get basically, that's going to come up with how much more qualifying power that you have. Okay? So you're looking at about another 80,000 in qualifying power. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's going to help you out tremendously. Okay? So a $500 car payment, well, we're going to pay this off. Well, I don't have money to pay it off. Okay? Can you get a gift to pay it off? Well, yes, my parents said that they'll help us out. Okay, great. we're going to get a gift, we're going to pay this off, and that's going to get you another 70,000, 75,000 in qualifying power. Is that okay with you? Yes, that will be enough. No, that's not okay with me. I need another $120,000. Okay, let's go back to that well again, the parent well.
Yeah.
Let's get them to co-sign. Do you have one of the parents that can come on, jump on the loan, be a co-signer, and basically help you out to get you more qualified? Now, let me let you know this. If somebody has poor credit, so when you have a co-borrower or a co-signer, the difference is a co-borrower could be a husband and wife, it could be a boyfriend, girlfriend, it could be two high school buddies, it could be two people living in the house that are going to buy the house together. A co-signer is a non-occupying co-borrower. Big difference.
Yeah.
So you're going to have the parents, and you're going to say, can we have one of your parents come on board, jump on the loan? Yes, my dad said that he would do anything to help me out. That's awesome. And then when things get better, when your job improves, we're going to refinance you, and we're going to basically take your father off. Is that okay? Yes, that's perfect. So those are the two things that I deal with, and telling people that this is the only way that it's going to happen. Then, but there are people out there that are going to say, loan officers that aren't doing any business. They're saying, well, let me see what I can do. Okay. The bottom line is we all use the same guidelines to get you into a home.
Right.
So ratios are ratios are ratios.
Yeah, you can't change them.
But let me be very, very clear about this, and this is the one thing that people don't understand. When you have a co-borrower or a co-signer coming on the loan with you to help improve the loan, the only area it cannot improve is credit.
Okay.
Whoever has the lowest credit score, we're still going to use that person's lowest. So if my credit score, and I'm the dad at 780, but one of my children have a credit score of 720, we're going to have to use the 720 credit score. So that's a very, very important thing. When somebody has a 600 or 580 credit score, they say, well, my dad said he'll co-sign and he's got 800 credit scores. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, that's a big thing what you just said.
That's a huge thing. Where the co-signers, co-borrowers come into effect is when helping strengthen income, helping strengthen the job stability, and bringing more assets and reserves to the table. But credit does not matter unless the person jumping on the loan has worse credit than you do.
That's good. The other thing I thought is the IRA. We don't ever recommend this at all on the Dave Ramsey Fan. Last resort, there are rules to it. You want to talk to your CPA, but I do know that for down payment such, there's an amount that you can take out that can help you get into a place from your retirement savings and things like that. And the other thing, Terry, is a second job you mentioned. What if somebody says, you know what, darn it, to afford more, I'm going to go get a second job. I'm going to go get a part-time job, add to my income. I may not do this forever, but I'm going to suck it up, buttercup, and I'm going to go get a second job to get into the place that I really want and need in the place where I want to live, so I'm not 20 miles further away or whatever. What are your thoughts? Do you see people doing that at all?
So people talk about that, and people will do it, and they'll come in and I'll say, okay, well, I work 2 jobs. And I say, great, how long have you been working 2 jobs? Well, I got a job 2 months ago. So I can make more money, to save money, to buy a house. Great. We can use that money that you're saving, but we cannot use that income that you are earning because you don't have, remember, one of the 4 areas, stable income. That does not show stability. Like, you got the job so you can get a house. Well, we need 2 years worth of 2 jobs.
Okay, 2 years you got to have.
2 years you got to have worth of 2 jobs.
Okay.
Now, are there exceptions? Occasionally, but not really.
Right.
So if you have a lender that says, oh yeah, I can use that, they've been there 2 months. No, you can't. Okay. So people are going to say, yeah, we can, but you really can't when it comes down to it. So great thought. And a lot of people say, what if I get another job? Great.
But if you're going to buy in 2 years from now, get the second job now. And not only do you have the extra money saved up, but now it can be counted towards that whole entire income of stability, right?
That is correct.
All right, good stuff. Most people don't know this stuff. That's why we're here. Terry, last thing, we got 4 minutes left. Check this out. This is something that I didn't think through that is really, really important, I think we can cover in 4 minutes, is this whole thing emerging now that we've discovered, oh, this is good, that it's always been conventional loans the strongest, conventional loans the strongest, conventional loans the strongest. This is what we've been living forever and ever, and then all of a sudden we get, I put a house up for sale, and then you get all these offers, and then you see VA and USDA, and then also FHA loans. You're like, wait a minute, why are they doing those? Oh, FHA loan, they must have bad credit or loan to value issue ratios or this or that, whatever, only to find out, wait a second. I had one, they said, if we have to flip it over to conventional, we can, if that's what it takes, but this is a more favorable loan for the buyer. And I went, how's that? So tell everybody out there, what are the pros to the possibly doing an FHA loan over a conventional loan right now?
So here's what we've been seeing in the conventional side. We had a whole show that talked about the LLPAs, okay? The loan level price adjustments. And they're adjusting prices for people at all credit scores, right? So what Fannie and Freddie are doing is they're putting more money into the coffer to offset any losses that they feel that may arise by people with these high interest rates. So right now, what's happened with conventional loans is the rate that you can get on a conventional loan versus an FHA, the distance has widened, the gap has widened, okay? So now somebody can get a lower rate on an FHA that makes a substantial difference. But in the past, FHA had a 0.85 rate factor, okay? And on a 0.85 rate factor, and I'm going to just use a $300,000 loan, okay? Just to clarify this, 0.85% means that your monthly mortgage insurance on an FHA loan prior to, I think it was March 1st,
Right.
was $212 a month.
Woo.
Okay. So the same $300,000 loan is now at 0.55% rate factor. And that's for every level of credit. Huge, huge difference.
Yep, that's big.
So that number went from 212, and that number on a $300,000 loan is now 137. So
wow.
you just got $80 more worth of qualifying, which is about $11,000. When you add in the lower rate that you're getting for FHA, when you add in the lower rate, then that basically shows you that you have a much lower payment on an FHA mortgage. Because what also happened, besides the LLPAs, is the mortgage insurance companies have boosted their rate factors. So now FHA used to be the highest, now they've crossed in the night, and conventionals are becoming much higher than the FHA 0.55.
So the moral of the story is, for buyers, don't be afraid to talk to you about FHA and how that can be more beneficial.
And let me call the listing agent.
Yep.
And let me be an advocate for your loan and tell them, yes, we can go conventionally, but that's not what's beneficial to the borrowers.
Yeah, and that's huge. And the only con, the last thing I'll finish up with, is for the seller, there's only one thing. We just have to pay attention a little bit more to the condition of the property, broken windows, peeling, chipping paint, handrail issues, things like that, smoke detectors, things like this. And those are pretty simple fixes in general that I can address usually right away up front when I sell a home, so that the seller doesn't run into any snags whatsoever. So make sure you guys like and subscribe, smash that bell every time that we come on. We hope you tune in, because Terry, coming up, we're going to give away a $100 gift card, summer giveaway, just to say thanks so much for tuning into your Frederick Real Estate Update. Have a great weekend. Happy buying and selling, and we'll see you next time. Take care now. Thank you, guys.
Oh, nailed it.